Thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of the Brett and Matt Show. As always, I'm Matt, he's Brett, and hopefully everyone had a good Thanksgiving. I had a good Thanksgiving, and unfortunately the Packers lost, so that really sucked. Brett, were you working on Thanksgiving night?
I was. I guess that's a thankful thing to be. I worked on Thanksgiving, got paid time and a half, and I didn't have to watch Green Bay lose.
It was another tough, gut-wrenching loss, I gotta say. A lot of things went wrong. Something I do want to hit on quick that went right, though, was Brett Favre's retirement. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of teared up a little bit. I know I said I wasn't sure if I would, but I think the part I teared up a little bit about was mainly just it was kind of hard to see Bart Starr out there because you could tell like he wasn't in probably the greatest of shape. In fact, I almost kind of just looked like he didn't really know like kind of right where he was, even like kind of sad and scary all at the same time. But just to see two guys that love the game of football so much was something that was pretty special, I thought. Just because I know, speaking for myself, like I love football with a passion, and to see two guys that also share that same love is pretty cool. Unfortunately, the game did not go the way that Packer fans wanted, and it kind of leads me into this. We thought maybe we had some of these issues cleaned up after getting a big win against Minnesota. And then we just kind of lay a goose egg against the Bears, and I gotta say, if you took everything away and you just saw the scores and you said the Packers defense held the opposing team to 17 points, normally you would just take that as we won the game, right? Like
most of the
normally
time,
you would think our offense is going to score more than 17 points. Like it's just
you got a guy like Aaron Rodgers, and obviously his reputation, guys like Randall Cobb still on offense, and Eddie Lacy. I mean, you expect that team to be able to score 17 points or more, at least in most games. But that is obviously disappointing. To be fair, Chicago is playing a lot better over their last 4 or 5 games than they had been early in the season. They're actually 3-2 in their last 5. So they are better, but at the same time, after that win, the week before, you did expect Green Bay to kind of keep things going and not, give Minnesota essentially the lead back in the division. But that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, so I mean, Minnesota picks up a win against Atlanta. We'll get into that a little bit later. But back to the Packers' woes. Watched the whole game, and I gotta say, it is super frustrating to see us be able to run the ball really well, and then Tom Clements decides that he's not going to stick with it. So we literally, I figured it out. There was one drive, we literally ran the ball 6 or 7 straight times. We got a first down. We threw it 3 straight times, didn't pick up the first down, the drive stalls. It's like, what are you doing? Like, I don't get it. And it seemed like it happened very consistently throughout the night, where we all of a sudden would get pass happy when we're running the ball so well, and then we'd go 3 and out, or the drive would stall, and it's just like, I don't get it.
Yeah, that's got to be. I mean, that's pretty disappointing. I'd like a little bit more consistency, and especially when something's working, like you mentioned. Just keep going with it. I know that sometimes it's hard to compare, say, college to the NFL, but that Indiana versus like Michigan game, I think Indiana was running the ball so well in the second half, they didn't even bother throwing, and they have an NFL caliber, I think, quarterback back there. They ran it like 20 straight times on one of the better rushing defenses in the country because it was working. Just keep going until you prove you can stop it. And it got them the lead for most of that game. Wisconsin's done the same thing, oddly enough, to Michigan years ago when Brett Bielema was there. I don't understand the need to go away from what's working, especially when you have receivers that are struggling, honestly, to get open or to catch the pass when they are open and Rodgers delivers it.
No, that's the thing. And, the other thing is I'm not going to be that guy that, even though, a lot of people are, and I'll be the first to admit I'm super unhappy with it, but there was one officiating call that I'm sure anyone that was watching the game was just like, this is ridiculous. So Aaron did his thing, where he gets the defense to jump off sides. The play's going, and then all of a sudden they decide to blow it dead. Like Randall Cobb's running a seam route, and Aaron hits him, and it would have been a touchdown. And they blow the play dead, and Aaron was not happy about it. And it was bad. Now, to pull the Skip Bayless effect here, I just got to say, Brett, your boy in clutch situations stinks.
Yeah, I thought we were done doing the Skip Bayless.
I'm just saying, and I'm almost starting to kind of wonder a little bit. In the fourth quarter, like, come on. I mean, games on the line, Aaron Rodgers, just what's going on? Like, I understand, like, I get it, like, he can't go out and catch the ball for the receivers. Like, he's made 3rd and goal. It was going to be our second to last, chance is 3rd and goal. We get a route combination that has James Jones by himself, and Rodgers hits him in the hands and he drops it. It would have been the game-winning touchdown, and he drops it. It's just, I said it right then. I was like, we're not going to get a better look than that. Like, that was our best chance to win the game. And we still had it down to work with, and I was pretty confident in thinking that we weren't going to get a better play than that. And
I mean, so is that Rodgers' fault or is it someone else's? Because you're saying it's Rodgers' fault, but then the guy drops it. And here's the stats too.
If Rodgers doesn't throw the ball so hard, maybe James Jones catches it.
Oh, please! But we just talked about James Jones always making the big play like 2 weeks ago.
But he hit it. It was right to him. Should have thrown it in the dirt or threw it high.
It was too good of a throw for James Jones to catch. But looking at the stats, right, the first 3 games of the season for these receivers, they only dropped 1 pass, which, of course, was Devontae Adams. Since then, in 8 games, they've dropped 23, almost 3 passes per game that hits them in the hands, and they just straight up drop it, which is the most in the league over those 8 games. So, I mean, you went from having, for the first couple games, like, okay, yeah, we're going to miss Jordy. But, hey, the receivers, when the ball's on them, they're catching it. Now it's like the ball's on them and they're not. I mean, that's not to not, blame Rodgers. He does miss. He's missing a lot more throws this year than I think I've ever seen him miss. But when he gets there, the guys aren't making the play.
He didn't even play this bad his first year starting. He's completing like 50% of his passes. That's terrible for him.
That was pretty bad, yeah. That's terrible for Tim Tebow. Actually, that's pretty decent for Tebow. But yeah, I don't know what else really got to say. Guys just have to make the plays when they're available. Because like you and me, we played receiver, right? Like sometimes, yeah, you get maybe a little frustrated. Sometimes the quarterback misses you and stuff like that. But when the chance comes and it hits you in the hands, what do we say? If it touches your hands, you got to make the play. You got to hit it. You got to catch that. So there's a lot of blame to go around, I think, basically on everybody on the offense, from the play calling to the players. And obviously people we haven't touched on right at this point would be like the offensive line sometimes as well, especially the tackle positions, not doing necessarily a great job protecting.
I will say I feel like the offensive line is played good enough to win games, especially against the Bears last. I mean, I thought
especially lately too, with the run game helping out a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the run game's been there. It's not their fault that silly play calling doesn't want to stick with the run game, but the run game has been there. I know Lacy fumbled the ball again. I get it. That hurts. But at some point, you gotta. Yeah, I think you gotta keep your faith in guys. And I think, yeah. I mean, it's easy for us to say just watching the game, but I've always kind of been in the mindset that you stick with what's working, and if that's what the hot hand is, doing, running the football, then I think that's what you stick with. It's tough. And you think about before, there was 3 games where the defense gave up 1,500 yards in total pass yards or total offense or whatever it was. The defense hasn't been the reason we've lost games. I feel like the defense has kept scores within reach for our offense. The offense just isn't stepping up and making plays.
That's true. Anyway, we got another topic I think that we should talk about too. Big topic. I know I jumped up in celebration. when I watched C.J. Anderson turn that corner and just go to the end zone. Pats losing their first game of the season at Denver. They were, I think, previously 12-0 in games played in the snow. So this is their first snow loss. I mean, obviously what you do in the past doesn't really affect the present, but it's just kind of like a cool little feature. What do you take from that game?
You know, it was kind of surprising to see the Patriots blow a 14-point lead going into the fourth quarter. Obviously, Gronk got hurt, and I've said it on Twitter a couple times because I get frustrated with certain people that I probably shouldn't follow, and I just get angry. But certain people like to make up injury excuse. I'm like, dude, every team is dealing with injuries. Get over it. Like, yeah, you lost Gronkowski for a little bit. I've had Jordy Nelson guy the whole season. Deal with it. Like, it happens. It's part of the game. So to use injuries as an excuse, I'm not a huge fan of that. Obviously, though, you mentioned C.J. Anderson. He has been much, much better since Peyton Manning has not been playing. The fact that offense in general has been much better running the ball. Now, it's probably not totally fair to completely blame Manning, but you got to think that Kubiak can run the offense he wants to run now with Brock Osweiler, and Osweiler made some really big throws towards the end of that game that were big time, and I gotta say I was pretty impressed.
Yeah, I think the offense you hit that just now is they do run the ball a lot better. I think with Osweiler, obviously it's a very short sample size. It's not a lot to go off of for now, but on those couple of games that we've seen, they're running the ball a lot better. And as well, I want to mention this too. Osweiler did play pretty decent, but Demaryius Thomas had his worst game that I think I've ever cared to watch. I mean, he had that one big catch. I know that set up the play, but before that, he wasn't coming back to the ball. He dropped some passes. It was not good, which was surprising to see. So, I mean, you think Osweiler was running the offense decently, but it could have been better if he could have been on the same page with Demaryius.
That's true. And that might be something that takes a little bit of time for them to get some chemistry. I mean, he's used to, passes floating to him, not being rocketed at him. Well, come on. Are you serious? Brock Osweiler is one of the strongest arms in the game.
He probably does, and obviously Manning does not. But hey, thinking about this too, right? So Osweiler's been sitting for 3.5 years now?
Yes.
I think it's been 3.5 years behind Manning. Sort of similar, I guess, in situation to, Rodgers being behind Favre. Mm-hmm. Do you think that kind of has helped him?
I do. I'm a big fan of having, and maybe it's because I got we get spoiled with the Aaron Rodgers effect, but I'm a big fan of letting a quarterback sit and learn. And not just, it seems like in today's game, most quarterbacks, if you're drafted high, you're gonna play in your first year or second year. It just seems like it's gonna happen, and I think guys have a better opportunity to develop a little bit better if they're not just thrown into that fire. But that's just personal opinion, and I get it. Coaches, if you're not winning games if you're not showing improvement by your second year, there's all sorts of talk there. You're gonna be gone. So the quarterback position is the most important position in football, and if you don't have a difference maker there or someone who can manage or at least be average, you're not going to win a lot of games.
That's true, and like you said, I mean, we look at Rodgers. He improved things like his arm strength. Obviously, you start to improve your understanding of the game. Now, Osweiler's been through a couple changes, or a change at the head coaching position in a different offense from the first couple of years to where he's at right now. But even still, just being able to see the work ethic that it takes to become a professional athlete, get stronger, become increase your quarterback IQ. I think those are all invaluable things that can happen, while you sit without actually taking the beating. And then plus sitting behind one of the best quarterbacks. I don't know how much Manning has been able to help him if Manning's that type of quarterback, because we see or heard some things, I think, with Favre and Rodgers. Favre wasn't always ready to be oh, here, let me help you take over my job, because obviously you don't want to lose your job, but at the same time, you got to realize your place too is like you are going to be this mentor. So I think sitting behind arguably the best. Obviously, there's other people out there that will say somebody like Montana or Brady, but those are all great things I think for the quarterback. And I kind of like that approach that Denver used for that because not a lot of places are able. Well, I think that's another thing too, by the way, is the ability to sit a quarterback. Because you look at places like Tennessee, or Tampa Bay this year is sure you take guys 1 and 2, you're going to expect them to play because you just don't really have any other options. And Denver had the luxury to kind of sit and groom a guy, which is pretty rare.
It's true. So other Week 12 surprises. So Carolina remains unbeaten after thromping the Dallas Cowboys.
Had that defense on my bench. Cost me a fantasy game. It literally did. I lost by 18 point some odd points, and they scored 19 more points than the defense that I decided to play. So playing Carolina from now on is what I'm going to be doing.
That Carolina defense is legit, and some stuff came out from that game. Did you see what Josh Norman said?
I did not. What did he say?
He said that the Cowboys should demand Dez's $70 million back because he held Dez Bryant to 2 catches for pitiful amount of yardage. Because I started Dez Bryant thinking, primetime game, Dez is gonna want to show off and be good. And dude, Josh Norman's really freaking good. He's really good. I should have known better.
Yeah, he is good. Obviously, Kuechly, back-to-back picks, I think, right? I mean, he had the pick 6, and then there's another play later. It was a very bad.
He had a couple picks.
Yeah, very bad game for Romo, who is now done for the season because he hurt his collarbone again, which you hate to see, especially for a guy. What is he? He's 35.
Although, hey, did you see also that Jerry Jones said Tony Romo's got another 4 to 5 years left?
I think Jerry Jones is old and senile. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
He might have another 4 to 5 years, but if you're gonna roll that dice, you better have a really good backup because he's not gonna last all 16 games.
He's been hurt 4 of the last 5 years. I mean, he's had back injuries, he's had shoulder stuff. I mean, his ribs, I think, were a huge thing a year or 2 ago. The he's beat up. I mean, he's gonna stay beat up. Those aren't things.
That's not something. Yep, I agree.
So I don't know. Especially, at what point do you retire when you're a guy? I mean, Romo is obviously still a skilled quarterback when he's healthy, but it's a when he's healthy thing, and that's not often. So it's for me at some point after 5 straight years of ending the season in some very poor shape, I'd probably say, you know what, maybe it's time for me to get on with my life.
That's true, but it's hard to walk away from the game, I feel like, especially if you feel like you can still play.
Did it in high school. That was easy.
The other question I gotta just bring it up. If the Browns turned Johnny Manziel loose, do you think the Cowboys would sign him? Jerry Jones already said that he had Johnny Manziel in his top 5 for guys that he wanted to draft.
I mean, it's possible. You go through, though, and you look at what they've done since then, and your list changes, hindsight 2020. I mean, if you were to go back,
True.
I don't think he would have him in the
But
top
he might get him anyways. He might not even have to worry about taking Zach Martin instead. He might not be able to get him anyways.
That's true. And they're going to be, like we said, at a quarterback needy spot because Castle is trash. Whedon's trash. Whoever else they have on that roster is no good.
Oh, Whedon's not even on the roster anymore.
That's why I didn't think he was. So, yeah, they could. I guess it's up to see what Cleveland does, which, by the way, they have announced that Austin Davis is going to start this week.
They did.
So after Manziel was demoted for his partying and lying.
Are you sure, Brett? Are you sure he's not trying to get himself out of Cleveland by lying?
I'm sure.
I think he is. I think he's trying to get out of Cleveland.
Maybe, but I don't believe it. I mean, I think when you're a young kid, he's what, 22? He's a young dude. Sometimes you think you can get away with things. You're just not experienced enough to realize that sometimes just be honest, because whatever you lied about, especially when you're an NFL type guy, and with like social media, people are gonna like fact check things you say, and it's gonna come out. Just be honest. And I don't think he's doing that on purpose. I just think he's kind of young, naive, and didn't realize that somebody would call him out. For like the music, by the way, that was playing in the background was like one of the things. It's like, wait, that song didn't come out until this time, so he totally lied when he said it was an old picture. Or
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean, he's from Texas. So Jerry Jones has followed him for a long time. Jerry Jones isn't afraid to sign high-profile guys. Doesn't care about that. I don't know. I just think if he ends up getting turned loose by the Browns, I would not be shocked at all. And I can say I called it then.
I mean, if he comes out and says something like, "Yeah, I totally want it out of there," then you can say you called it. But
oh, come on. Oh, and the other thing I'd say if I called it is if he comes out and somehow ends up being really good on Dallas. Like, say, like he ends up actually being the way that everyone thought he should be, and isn't busy being, partying and I don't want to be in Cleveland and that kind of attitude. Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. It's either way, it's probably, if he ends up out of Cleveland, I mean, I don't know, he's got one more shot in the NFL before teams are just gonna be like, nope.
Pretty much.
So there's that. Being that you live pretty close to Indianapolis, so the Colts are undefeated with Matt Hasselbeck as the starting quarterback. And I gotta ask, what's going on in Indy?
So he's 4-0 as a starter. I think Andrew Luck then that puts him at what, 2-5? Yeah, he's 2-5 as the starter this year, which is obviously not good. Romo Hasselbeck definitely understands his role. He's come out and said it, like, "Hey, I know when Luck's healthy that he's going to come back. He's just happy to be playing." He's 40 years old. But I do know, I'm pretty sure friend of the show, Cortland, I think he's all on that Hasselbeck bus right now. I think he's just saying, let's ride it.
I would be too, because they keep winning.
I mean, I don't know. I unfortunately haven't been able to, like watch every single game because of the schedule to see how the offense, if it's playing differently, what they're doing different. I'm willing to bet Hasselbeck's not throwing as many turnover-worthy passes, though, which is a start, because that keeps your team, regardless of how well you're doing otherwise in the game, by not turning it over, which has been a lot of trouble for Luck. I mean, he's thrown, I think, some of the highest he's got like the highest rate, or one of the highest rates for turnover-worthy passes as, graded by PFF. So,
yeah,
historically, didn't fight him in the butt for a while. Yeah, so that's not good. But it does look a little bit more bleak now, even though, they did win that game. Because their offense, Ahmad Bradshaw was picked up, suffered a season-ending injury. And Frank Gore was the lowest-rated running back in the league in Week 12. That's not good by PFF. So, yeah, the running game's probably not going to help them out much. And I think for that, you almost want to keep Luck in, because he's able to make plays, with his legs and do things. I think in the passing game that at this point, especially down the field, that Hasselbeck probably can't, because they're going to need to rely on the arm a little bit more with, I don't think, a very good running game to support them.
Yeah, those are definitely some good points. I mean, boy, I got to say, teams that have – as a Packer fan, I think, man, my team has gone, on a skid. We've won, one of the last four?
4 or 5. One of the last 5, I think.
One of the last 5? That's awful. It could be worse. I could be an Atlanta Falcons fan. It feels like the Atlanta Falcons have just bottomed out. And I got to say, I am a big, avid Matty Ice supporter, but he is playing like garbage. I mean, my goodness, this is not pretty, man. Not good. I mean, I was really rooting for the Falcons to beat Minnesota, and they couldn't even do that.
It's because Matt Ryan stinks. But I think they're actually – they're not in the playoffs if it starts today. Ha!
No, they're not.
the Seahawks would be in instead. Like I said,
Correct.
Seahawks making the playoffs this year, man.
You know what? I gotta admit, the Seahawks are surging. Um, they're getting hot, and I know that you like the Seahawks and you like Russ Wilson. I don't think they're gonna catch Arizona. Arizona is a really good team. I just don't think they're gonna be able to catch them for the division. So if you're the Seahawks, probably gonna be a wild card team. And a weird way to say it, but I watched all of, or not, I shouldn't say all, a whole lot of the Steelers from about the second quarter on, the Steelers and Seahawks game. And I got to say, that defense is not the same defense that they were. Like, and this is where part of the reason I love the NFL. Like, everyone's really smart, and something that might work for a couple of years, you're probably not going to get away with it running 3 years in a row because people figure it out. And that cover 3 scheme that works so well, the Steelers were eating it alive.
Well, okay, you look at it though. I mean, Sherman did shut down, I think, Antonio Brown for most of that game. But then you got the other guys in coverage, and like we've said many a time before, Kerry Williams trash, and I don't remember who the guy that came into. I think he's been hurt, Jeremy, something like that. Obviously, they're not to the same level of guys that they have usually had, like opposite of Sherman, to kind of help out in that Legion of Boom, as they call themselves. So basically, it's if you have 2 or 3 legitimate receivers, I think you can have some pretty decent success, especially with a quarterback, like
Big Ben
Roethlisberger.
A good quarterback when he's healthy, obviously.
When he's not
when he's not healthy, he's
he's not healthy. He came in a couple weeks ago off the bench because Landry Jones got hurt and he was on fire. Of course, I had him on my bench also for fantasy. I didn't like that. But yeah, by the way, he was concussed, and then like 2 days ago, he was like, "Yeah, I think I passed with flying colors," and then the results revealed that he was still concussed or something. Yeah, that means concussions are scary, and you probably shouldn't listen to people with concussions about anything. Like that's right. Like he was healthy. He's like, "I passed with flying colors." No, sir, you have a concussion still. But I think he's going to play this week. I think he finally got cleared. But you're right. I mean, you can have some success, especially if you can have enough time.
It doesn't feel like Seattle's winning games because of their defense. Look at all the fourth quarter leads they've blown. Like, the Legion of Boom does not blow fourth quarter leads.
Well, I beg to differ because I've been saying this for
just because Russell Wilson lost to Matty Ice in the playoffs, baby. Come on.
He's done that. I think it happened in Miami, happened in Detroit. They've done it a lot in the last couple of years. To be fair, though, they played lights out for like the majority of that game, and the offense was the reason they were in that position in the first place.
It's true. It's true. Now the offense has taken off and been a real difference maker. Also, maybe it's because the Steelers' terrible secondary is awful. I think you or me could run against that team. They're terrible.
Yeah, they definitely. I mean, there were some short passes, like essentially the game winner, to Doug Baldwin, the 80-yarder.
Where's the tackling?
I mean, I get it. Doug's a feisty, strong little dude.
Brett, he's a no-name dude. Come on.
Hey, be careful what you say, okay? He's gonna.
Oh yeah, he might get angry. He might get angry, but the Steelers' third receiver is probably better than their first. Come on. Come on.
No.
The Steelers' second receiver is better than their first. That's not a question.
Well, that's not in question. Yeah, the Steelers' top 2 receivers are pretty legit.
Are you sure, though? The way Whedon was playing, I might take him over those guys.
Really?
Maybe. Russ Wilson could just chuck it deep to him.
He can do the same thing to Lockett, I think.
Lockett? What? Come on.
Paul Richardson?
So, I mean, obviously, yeah, there you go. And the one thing that does kind of suck if you're Seattle, Jimmy Graham was just getting going, and then he gets seriously hurt and is out for the year.
Yeah, and that was one of those things, too. Obviously, it didn't even look – I mean, it was like one of those you just kind of land funny, and that just – was it the kneecap, right? Yeah, torn patellar tendon. So
Yep.
That stinks. That's a long time to recover from that injury, too.
Yeah, he might not be the same player.
And he's definitely missing the first half of next year. There's no way he can be back in time for the beginning of that. Like, you'd almost rather have like an ACL tear for the guy instead of just like patella.
Yeah, that's a devastating injury. But nonetheless, the Seahawks are playing good football. They're hot right now. I've always said that if you can be the hot team going into the playoffs, you have a real chance to, really go somewhere. So it's something to keep an eye on.
You know who else is hot? And I've been saying it. They're not even really that hot necessarily. They're 3-2 in their last 5, but Washington's making the playoffs.
Brett, no, I do not like that. Okay, that's not what Kirk Cousins said. You like that or something like that? I hate that guy. Are you kidding me? He has no business being a starting quarterback in the league.
Guy's an American hero.
American hero? Brett, you watched him lose to Wisconsin in a Big Ten title game.
I also watched him beat Wisconsin on a Hail Mary.
Yeah, because Russell Wilson couldn't beat him.
Because Russell Wilson couldn't knock down that pass, please. That's Jared Abbrederis' fault. That's exactly what it was, by the way. It was a very sad day. It was my birthday weekend. I had my mom and my stepdad down, and I was walking around the house cursing. My mom told me to be quiet and settle down. I said, F you, because she cursed it, She said, oh, here's some victory cake when we were winning.
Oh, my gosh, you said that.
You did.
Oh, I know.
And then the Hail Mary.
That's karma. You can't say that until the game's over.
It was bad. But
man.
Looking at that, the NFC least as we call it, Washington and New York are tied for first right now. Washington has the easiest remaining schedule of the 4 teams. And obviously we're just going to say Dallas is out of it because with Romo gone, there's no way that
they're out of it, yeah.
But it's really like, so you got the Redskins, the Giants, and the Eagles. I'm pretty sure we're both pretty down on the Eagles, so it's between the Giants and Redskins. I'm taking the easy schedule.
That makes total sense. I'm sorry, I gotta bring this up quick because I just saw it on Twitter. This is a question for you, Mr. Staley.
Oh,
if
great.
a player is on the inactive list, why are they suited up in all their gear?
They just like being part of the team? I have no idea who suited up.
I'm okay. So on the I swear on the injury report list that Jared Abbrederis was on the list as inactive. He is clearly suited up in all his gear and pads and everything, and it looks like he's warming, like ready to go. What? Why would you suit up if you're inactive?
Maybe he just wants to go out there and do warm-ups. I have no idea. Just testing it out. That doesn't make any sense because if you're inactive, you can't be put in the game.
No. So why would you? Yeah, he is, and it's not like a vine like of some like other. It's definitely at Ford Field. It's got Detroit Lions stuff all over it, and yeah, it's Jared Abbrederis with Jeff Janis, Randall Cobb. Yeah, what the heck?
Who tweeted this out? I want to see this.
Oh, I'm gonna tweet it right at you, man. I'm shocked because I thought for sure if you were inactive, you didn't dress in pads and all that stuff. Like, why would you do that?
Let's look this up. NFL.
I almost had a double take. I was like, wait, what? I thought he was hurt.
Well, Googling NFL inactive rules doesn't give you much of anything.
Huh. Well, anyways, I guess back to the NFC least. I gotta say I was dead wrong on Philly. Now the only prediction I'm gonna make about Philly is that Chip Kelly will not be coaching Philly next season. That's my prediction. And unfortunately, he won't be coaching USC either. So I'm sad.
Going to that topic, really surprised that USC did
Yeah.
what they did. I mean, that's a big name school to not at least I get it, maybe to get some continuity or maybe you liked the way that guy's, the team's rallied around him or something. But at the same time, to not go after like a huge name, I don't know. Sometimes though, big names don't always work out for you either.
It's true. And to be fair, I mean, it seems like his players really like him. I saw a tweet that the whole team started freaking out when he was announced that he was going to be their head coach. So apparently they really like him.
But so if he's not coaching there, by the way, where do you think Chip goes?
I'm telling you, Brett, he trades himself to Tennessee.
Trades himself.
I don't know. USC was my biggest prediction. Now that's completely off the table. So I don't know. As far as college football programs go, big name programs are already starting to name their coaches. Miami would have been interesting, but they got Georgia's old head coach, so that's not going to happen now.
How about this? There's apparently a rumor or something going around that, and this is probably not going to happen at all, but let's say Alabama wins the title, that Saban retires, he steps away.
Chip Kelly to Alabama.
That can't work, right? That can't work.
That would be interesting. Be real interesting. Chip wouldn't be the first head coach, obviously, to try the NFL and then leave, and then maybe try later and have success, like it happens.
Pete Carroll did that.
Pete Carroll's a prime example. Or coaches that step away and go back to college. I mean, Harbaugh did it. No one thinks any less of Harbaugh for doing it, which is funny. In fact, I feel like a lot of people are happy he took the Michigan job. So, I mean, if Chip wants to leave, maybe he's just better suited for college. Everyone is just so fast at the NFL level that maybe his offense just doesn't work quite as good. But at the college level, when you can recruit speed and there is a difference in a really fast college team as a whole, I mean, being that Wisconsin played Oregon firsthand, I got to see that they clearly had way more speed than we did. And we had a good team that year.
A really good team that year.
We couldn't keep up with the Chip Kelly offense, bro. That was the deal.
You're not even wrong. I mean, to be fair, I think Wisconsin had the lead at one point. They even got like a turnover return for a touchdown, Lewis and Segu with the fumble recovery, if I remember correctly.
You do, and we lost. How did we lose?
I don't know. It was the referee's fault. It's always the referee's fault. We got that snap off and down, man. Should have had one more plays, which at best we would have tied the game. So, anyway, tangent on that.
Anyways, though,
I mean, you are correct. I don't think he's got not only the speed thing, but I don't think he's got the quarterback to be able to run the system that he wants. I mean, neither of them. I don't know why he felt Sam Bradford would be the guy, and obviously Nick Foles isn't the guy. Unfortunately for Bradford, he turned down a ton of money on an extension, so he probably won't be making that or seeing that kind of money ever again.
No, I completely agree. Bradford probably messed that up big time, I think.
He pulled the old Joe Flacco, I'm going to bet on myself thing.
I'm going to bet on myself, and it didn't pan out so well.
Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of all we got this week. The last thing I would like to say is the Badgers men basketball team beat Syracuse when I don't think many people were expecting us to, including myself. I thought, shit, we're not going to beat Syracuse. I don't think we're that good of a team, and we ended up, kind of surprising a little bit. Koenig, I thought, ran the team good. It was a pretty good game. I didn't get to watch hardly any of it because I had volleyball last night that I had to play, but I was glad to see we won.
Yeah, that was nice. Also, last week with Indiana beating Purdue, they are now bowl eligible for the first time since 2007. So this Sunday we get to see where Indiana gets to travel.
So where do you think they're going to go? Where do you think they're going to go?
I mean, I think it would be nice if it was Nashville for a Music City Bowl, I think, or whatever they call it now, because it's closer. So like local fans would be able to alumni. There's some very wealthy alumni, and there's obviously fans that are going to travel regardless because it's the first bowl game in 8 years. But I mean, for like some of the other, like some students or some other people that might want to go, Nashville, I've heard really great things about. Plus, it's a lot closer than the other option, so I'd love to see that. But it's sounding a lot like it's going to be the bowl game in New York City. I think they play at like Yankee Stadium or whatever. Which there's a lot of alumni out there as well, so I think it should be a well-attended game. I wish for the kids' sake, if you're going to be somewhere for like Christmas break, that you go somewhere kind of warm, not New York, where there's a potential for some severe stormy, cold weather.
Yeah, that makes sense. It sounds like our Badgers are going to be playing against Utah in all likelihood. In fact, I haven't really seen any other scenarios but that, which in San Diego, I think, so it'll be a nice little change for the fan base to go there instead of Florida. So
Oh my God, I think we've been in Florida. The only time, I guess, well, we did go to 3 straight Rose Bowls. So there was that time where we were in California already, but
that's
we've
true.
been to San Diego itself. My God, I don't know if they've ever been. Melvin Gordon can stop by and say hey to the team too.
Yeah, maybe we can suit him up and play because he's not. He should have just stayed anyways because he's not doing anything in the NFL level. So he could have at least done something in college.
Hey,
What?
Last week he had a good week.
What? Did he finally get a rushing touchdown?
That's what it have been if he had 1 carry for 1 yard and 1 touchdown, would that have been a good game?
No, it would have been a garbage game. Although at least he would have found the end zone and not been a complete waste on my fantasy team.
He's not on your team anymore, is he?
Yeah, I have him on my bench still. He doesn't ever start because Doug Martin and the other rookie who's actually good, Todd Gurley, starts, who's been a stud. So that's great.
Fair enough. Now, the other scenario, by the way, in that bowl game prediction, even though it's Utah, is apparently if Stanford loses to USC in the Pac-12 championship, I think Stanford might fall all the way to that, which seems weird because it's clearly, even if they lose, the first or second best team in the Pac-12 playing like the 5th or 6th best team in the Big Ten.
That's not good. I don't want to hear that. I don't really want to play Utah, to tell you the truth, but maybe we'll. Our defense is good. Our defense is fine. I'm not worried about the defense, but my goodness, the offense has got to. Although Tywan Deal, he looked all right against Minnesota. Just saying, I thought he looked good.
Dare Ogunbowale.
Dude, good 1-2 change of pace kind of thing. Now, if Stave could stop throwing pick sixes, would be fantastic.
Okay, if you go back and watch that, there's a lot that didn't happen. All right, Erickson whiffed on the
Ladies and gentlemen, this guy over that I'm talking to right now is the biggest Joe Stave supporter I have ever seen. He is just on an island by himself. This is ridiculous. How are you going to defend this?
I'm just saying. He has been through 3 different coaching staffs who've all started him. You know, he's obviously the best we got. You got no choice but to support the kid.
You know, if I had a number 13 somewhere, I would show it because Bart Houston is just, itching. Mr. California is itching to play.
He's not even going to start next year, all right?
Who's going to start instead? Gillens?
Hornibrook.
What the hell is that?
He's a redshirt freshman right now.
Are you just making names up now, Brett? Come on.
Alex Hornibrook. He's going to start. We're going to get a 4-year starter again.
No, we're not. It's going to be Gillens, and you know it.
I don't think it is. I think we'll be surprised. I think you'll be surprised. I
guess I will be surprised, and you'll be like, see, Matt, I told you
eight months
this is coming.
8 months from now, I'm going to say, hey, I'll probably forget, by the way.
Also, did you see the Corey Clement video?
I did.
What? Come on.
First of all, it wasn't a very good decision because you're in a small hallway and there's like, okay, even if you could whoop all their asses, which I'm pretty sure he could, in a small hallway, you can't move around. You're going to get cornered. And, I mean, he did end up getting taken down and I kicked and punched a couple times. And then the one dude took his shirt off, which, by the way, was hilarious because if Corey would have taken his shirt off, would have been like, really, dude? Really? But
yeah, well, Corey got himself in trouble now, so.
He did.
Is that smart?
It wasn't smart. He apparently lied to the staff, which is why he did trouble.
It's also not smart.
I think after seeing that, it was bad and it was stupid, but it wasn't like some people thought that
it
he
wasn't like we're gonna kick him off the team, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. No.
I mean, but obviously it wasn't hard, and you should probably never do it again, and probably be apologetic, but probably doesn't need to get kicked off the team for it either.
No, I mean, some reports, or the way people read the reports and then were commenting on it, say like on message boards or like in the comments underneath like news releases, where they thought he hit a girl, which obviously would probably be
that would probably get you kicked off the team.
Yes, immediately. But I mean, he did kind of blindside that one dude when he threw the first punch and knocked him out. But other than that, I mean, it just was a bad situation, and he probably should be smarter than that. I mean, when you're up that late chances are maybe he went out. I don't know. They didn't say that he was drunk or anything, so I don't want to speculate. But
Yep.
just a lot of testosterone. He did say somebody get your hoe back or something like that, which kind of upset the other group. So maybe just kind of watch what you say too. I mean, obviously the other group doesn't have to say anything back. They could also leave, but there's just a lot going on there that not a good situation.
I agree, sir. So with that said, that's gonna wrap up today's show. So next week, hopefully, will be. I said this last time, but hopefully, the Packers figure out a way to get a win. I personally think it's put up or shut up time. If we don't get a win against Detroit, I think it might not be good for the rest of the season. I think it's an opportunity though for us to maybe try and get on the right path, start winning some games, start getting some confidence, and maybe try and get in the playoffs and really hit this thing. So we'll see what happens.
Ooh, before you hit the done button, who's winning? Michigan State, Iowa.
Oh, God, I hate both those programs. This is terrible. This is awful. Dude, there's no way Iowa's going to beat Michigan State. There just isn't. Their Cinderella ride is done.
I agree. I think it's going to be MSU.
But if they manage to win and just keep this thing going, I almost kind of want them to win.
Win it all. If that's going to happen, win it all. I can't see them even being close to winning it at all. But if they did, that's got to give hope to other teams like, teams that were historically middle of, I guess, the conference, right? So something to keep an eye on this weekend as well, as far as college football goes. All the conference championship games. So.
Yes, the conference championship games. And, the Big Ten's getting one school in, obviously. So it will be either Michigan State, even though Brett doesn't think they'll get in. Right?
Michigan State. If Michigan State wins, they're in.
And if Iowa wins, they're in.
Yeah.
So the Big Ten is going to be represented. Now, I've seen like a couple scenarios where people want to try and get Ohio State in, but
that requires basically every other conference championship
to lose.
Yeah.
So it could happen, but the odds of Florida beating Alabama probably not great. The odds USC Stanford could be interesting.
And then Clemson, North Carolina. North Carolina could give them a run, but I think Clemson. This is not the year for Clemsoning to be a thing. I think Clemsoning's done, and they're going to make it to the playoff.
Yeah, that's fair. So with that said, also I gotta admit I was wrong. I just gotta say it quick. I gotta get this off my chest. I really thought Michigan would beat Ohio State. Boy, oh boy, was I wrong. They got throttled. I don't even want to talk about it.
And so we won't. And I'm cool with leaving it at that.
Well, how nice of you. So until next time.